Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Iceland Winter 2024 season preview. So, I wanted to make sure that is up there and just totally exciting. We already have 4 people tuned in. So, guys, we're going to make sure today's session is a little bit interactive. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll talk about it. We're going to give our lowdown of just kind of the preview, rundown, welcome to the league, because we have a lot of brand new faces joining the league this season. So, of course, you have me, Maju, your host. You guys remember me from the draft as well, which was 2 hours long. Man, that was a beauty. Of course, I am joined today by our one, our only commish, Mr. Ahmed Ibrahim, aka Habibi himself.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, Maji. How are you, buddy?
Alhamdulillah, excited. Of course, and we have Riz already. Riz throwing it in the chat saying "Salaam alaikum."
We have to throw this guy a mic. We got to get this guy on. I'm sure we can find it. I'm sure we can find a couple of dollars.
Yeah, we just got to get a prepaid envelope and stuff like that. We just got to figure out the logistics and ship him one.
Signed, done. Let's do it.
But brothers, welcome. I'm really excited. I'm unfortunately I'm not playing this season. I'm trying to get some health issues resolved. I'm really disappointed in that. It was a last minute dropout for me, but I'm so excited to get, just get this ball rolling. We have so many talented players and so many unknown players with high level of talent. So first and foremost, it's just assalamu alaikum, welcome. This is hands down one of the best leagues probably the best league I've ever played in and had the privilege of playing in it. It really epitomizes that brotherhood aspect and the Islamic core values. Habibi has, he's been here, 30 seasons, 30 years? How long have you been playing hockey, man?
Let's leave that undisclosed amount.
So,
but it's been a long time for sure.
Yeah, and Habibi's been the commissioner for the last handful of years, or if not more. Again, I'm just in for the ride, and every season it just keeps getting better and better, folks. Habibi, do you want to kind of go through the core values of the league and let folks know? And Riz, of course, dropping it in. Definitely a brotherhood league, the best league out there. And I think one of the aspects also is our draft league promotes that brotherhood so much more. But Habibi, do you want to just
you kind of cut off on me, but I think I think what the beauty of the league is obviously, like, we have a lot of players that that are reoccurring. So the one message that I like to give out is that last year or last season you started a journey with 16 guys. It lasted for about 3 months. But the beauty of it is right now you're starting another journey with a bunch of other guys, a bunch of 16 guys, and this year it'll be for about 5 months, because the season will end in May, inshallah. But that literally is the beauty. It really is that beauty in terms of, like, sharing that common journey in terms of, like, that brotherhood alongside with the passion of the sport that we all love, which is obviously ball hockey. So, and again, it goes outside of ball hockey in terms of friendships and camaraderie and all that stuff that comes around with it. That's what makes the league beautiful. That's what makes it near and dear to me, is I've established a lot of friendships with it, and hopefully, inshallah, with all the new players. In fact, we have over 40 new players in this league, in this draft alone. So just knowing that, I am using my work computer. Yeah, just knowing that it's just knowing that we have 40 new players in this draft alone just speaks to volumes in terms of, like, how the league is growing, in terms of other new players and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, the brotherhood is there, it's strong, and again, with a draft system, it allows it to harness those friendships even more.
Well said, bro. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. One thing that we always want to bring it back to is, again, the fact that we are playing with and against brothers, friends, husbands, fathers, sons, right? Remember, we all get really passionate out there. We do take it to heart sometimes, but remember that we all have a job to get to tomorrow. We all have something to do tomorrow, and try to just, I honestly don't know what more to say about it, because I've always said it so much. But self-control and leave it on the floor. Don't take this anywhere. Don't take it anywhere further. This is something I always want to reiterate, because passions run high. Habibi, any comments about that? Any reminders for everyone?
No, I think it's pretty much I mean, well said. I mean what you're showing right now is is a page from our GM deck, and it really is it is true. Like most of us are brothers, friends, fathers, husbands, and sons, and we all have obligations outside of hockey in terms of like fulfilling those those titles. And again, it's the friendships that you have even amongst your own teammates. So again, we are we all have lives, like you said, but we all share that passion of hockey. So I can't reiterate it more than you have. But just remember, there's nothing wrong with passion, but at the same time, just remember that we do have lives outside of this.
Yeah, and we take safety very, very very seriously. So we will always prioritize safety for the league. So making sure everyone's wearing full cage, like, well, not full cages, but we highly recommend wearing visors. If not a full cage, if of course you want to, but I think it's under the age of 18 you have to wear a full cage, and we don't have that many players, but that's always a requirement. And if something happens, we will make sure that we get things under control.
Yeah.
Now, for everyone that's really wanting to know our key dates, our key indicators of what the season holds, our season, inshallah, will start tomorrow. We do have the trade and roster freeze scheduled for Tuesday, April the 9th. The waiver roster freeze scheduled on April the 16th. So waiver is when a player has to drop out at some point. We do allow a little bit of leeway back and forth between the trade and the waiver. But if you have to drop out due to unfortunate or unforeseen circumstances, it happens. And there's a process that your GMs are aware of, and they can talk to you through it. So any questions you do have about the key dates, anything that we talk about, you're more than welcome to reach out to us right now in the chat, ask any questions. We have the commish right here. But of course, your GMs will help you throughout the season. So any new players, talk to your GMs. They're there to help you, to guide you to become a better player, but also to shed some light on IceLam and its workings. Our regular season is supposed to end on May the 3rd. Playoffs will start May the 10th, and inshallah, playoffs will end. The championship will be on May the 24th. Habibi, anything you want to add on this slide?
Nothing other than we do have the beautiful month of Ramadan, which we'll interject in between. So that's why this season is 4 or 5 months, because 1 month of that will be for Ramadan, inshallah.
Perfect. And I'm just trying to find. Do you know the dates specifically, Habibi? Oh yes, correction. I have it. So the weeks of March 15th, 22nd, 29th, and April 5th. We will be off for Ramadan/Eid.
Yeah, and we'll send you guys reminders anyway. So I mean, this is just more of providing that high level information.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well said. So I think, is there anything else you wanted to speak about before we jump into the teams and offer your analysis? Everybody, just remember, Habibi is the commish. So he's gonna be very PC about it. He's not gonna give you any insight on who he thinks the winner is or who he's gonna pick for a championship. But of course, I'm always happy to have them here. Anything you did want to speak of before we jump right in?
No, I say we just jump right into it.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Okay, so Iman, purple, the Lakers logo, beautiful jerseys, but we have the GMs of Adam Ahmed, Omar Hussein, and Zakaria Ali. So if you guys didn't watch the draft, I did say this is 2 D-men and 1 forward. Potentially, Adam can play forward. But you do see the team here and backstopped by Khalid Mufti. So we have some ex-champions, some not record holders, but like scoring title holders. So we have Omar Hussein, I believe, got the scoring title last season. Altaf Panchadi, Zakaria Ali were champions last season. Ahmed Khalid has been a champion. Ehsan Zaidi is a league veteran. Bilal Olvi has a clap. Like, this is honestly, I think we're going to go on like this for every single team. All the teams are stacked.
Yeah, this team is very well rounded actually. I mean, you got I mean with the guys in the back just on defense alone, you got guys like Zaidi, Bilal Alvi, Omar Asawi, and again, Zakaria Ali and possibly Omar Hussein. I mean, those guys in the back with Khalid Mufti, and that team is really unstoppable. But aside from all that, I mean, look at the forwards that they got. Everyone knows what Adam Ahmed brings to the table in terms of the speed that he has. Omar Hussein, we all know what he can do. But again, you can't ignore, guys like Ahmed Khalid, Ahmed Panchati, and the guys on the second line with Kadri and Malik, Rizi Malik and Jafar Shalhoub. This team really is a well balanced team. But again, we don't want to speculate or do anything like because we know what happened last season where we were talking about teams that really look good on paper, and we were like, okay, this team will take you to the promised land, but it never pans out. But again, and we all know this. I mean, teams might look great on paper, might not pan out in terms of like how it is, how it is on the court and stuff like that. But this team on paper, it really does have a solid mix of youth, veteran, solid goaltending, solid defense. I can say that that the guys orchestrating this team in terms of Adam, Omar, and Zakaria, they knew exactly what they were doing when they were picking their picks, and I think they did a real good job this time in terms of making sure that they got the right guys that fit in their system for sure.
Yeah, well said. And I think you've pointed it out. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach and say that I think this team is a little bit defense heavy, right? We have Adam Ahmed, Bilal Alvi, Omar Asawi, who else? Ehsan Zaidi. So it's a little bit defensive heavy. So that they don't have the same kind of scoring talent up front. But we know from last season, Omar Hussein was best. Like, he scored, he had 9 goals. Altaf Panchati has 13 assists. You have Zaid Kadri you have Zaid Kadri again, last year's champion, and he's 17 years old, and he's improving every single season.
Yeah,
this team has
it's mixed.
A ton of potential, but definitely going to be a very, very hard to score on. So. We may not see a ton of goals racked up by them, but don't count them out, right? It's going to be a phenomenal team to watch. And Habibi's absolutely right. Like, last season, we made some predictions, and that completely fell through. So I'm going to abstain. I know what I said during the draft. I was under the gun under the draft, but I think I'm just going to step back and not make any predictions, and let's see how it goes. But our next team is Team Haya, aka the Haya Hustle, with the perennial,
aka the Mullocks.
Yes, they lived up to that one again today. This season. So we have the perennial GMs of Akib Malik, Lukman Ershad, and Sufyan Sheikh. These guys have been together for a good handful of seasons now, and making their return again. So Team Grey, they have, again, veterans like Abdullah Patel, who finally won his first championship, but Hashim Chaudhry on the back, Coach K, and we all give him that was it, that nickname, I guess? Yeah, Coach K, because he's been around here. He knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, his body does not want to always keep up with his brain, but he'll still make you look silly when it comes down to it. But we have Naeem Malik, Salim Malik, Umar Malik. Where's the other Malik? I think again, Riz is the only last man out.
Yeah.
And Adam Syed in net.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't say enough about Adam Syed in terms of like he has solid goaltending. We worked with him last season. Great kid, coachable. One of the main reasons why the successes of last year was because of him. But again, you can't forget. Obviously, I'm biased, but Mohamed Hamoud, in terms of like their first pick. So I mean, you have I mean, this team. I think their only Achilles heel will probably be anything beyond the second or third line. I think they might need to probably shake up their lines a little bit in terms of like doing what they have to do there. But at the end of the day, this team obviously brings pedigree. We do know what Luke, Akib, and Sufyan bring to the table. They're not going to quit, regardless of what comes in play, and that really is true. To the Haya hustle, it really is a team that's built around that. We do see the return of Salim Malik. We have not seen him in a while, so good to see him back in the lead, back in the league. Hashim Chaudhry, we all know what he could do on defense and that incredible shot that he has on the blue line. But again, this team, I think it's going to really be on that hustle. I think they probably might need to look into what that second and third line can do. But in terms of the veteran presence of what Akib, Luke, and Sufyan, I'm sure that they will bring the best out of the players that they got. But again, well drafted team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that their first line of most likely it's going to be Akib, Sufyan, and Zaid Khaler is
No, I
going
would
to
say
look.
Hamoudi.
Oh, that's true, Hamoudi. That's right. But I think they may put Hamoudi back to help shore up that second line, just because with Zaid, Sufyan, and Akib, you get what they're known for of spreading out the other team, doing those high dump passes, those launch passes, try to get Zaid open, try to get Sufyan open. But you're right, Hamoudi does have a history of playing with Sufyan and Akib, so there may be some interchanging around there as well to get the best out of it. And hey, it might be Akib Malik yelling at the other Maliks to get the best out of them. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm sure that will happen regardless. So we know the Maliks are very hard on each other, and sometimes they could be their own worst enemies. But again, if that works for them, right? If that brings out the best in them, then that brings out the best in them. But it'll be interesting to see what they do throughout the whole season. But again, Haya's one of those teams. We always say this throughout the whole season is never give up on these guys. And this is another team that I'm looking at right now, and it's not one to never look back on. Again, but just Abdullah Patel himself, like he's a top line player. He can also play on that second line, and he can also quarterback that third line if needed. So they got that depth. I think the key in terms of like that shuffle will probably be between Coach K, Abdullah, and probably Hamoud in terms of like how they work it out. But it's something that I'm sure that Akib, Lukman, and Sufyan will figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Now the next team alphabetically is Isan, the Great Red Isan, which is GM by Dawood Siamber, Muhammad Ali Kasantini, and Omar Abdullah. So this is Omar Abdullah's first season as a GM. Dawood, we know and love him, and he's been here for years and years and years. Typically, and if you guys didn't get our references during the podcast, he likes to take the players he knows. He likes that continuity. So most of the players that he has on his team are on 8-year contracts. They've been with him for a while. They know his system, and he likes the way they play. And again, it kind of, if they fall where he needs to, and he's able to draft them, he'll get the best player he can. So, so you have the GMs. Then we have Danish Khan making his return, but Farouk Sani again playing again with Dawood, Ibrahim Hindi with Dawood, Mo Qazi. I believe Qazi's played with Dawood, but that's some great talent. Taha Azhar, Zahid Bachbaya, which we could not say enough, Rizwan Khaler, and last but not least, Ashfaq Sheikh. So Black Bear holding it down in the back end. There was a trade on this team to get Abdul Rahman Khaler, who is the son of Rizwan Khaler. So again, this goes back to the brotherhood of our league and trying to make sure families try to stay together. Again, riot issues and a lot of other pieces. But there was a trade made to get Rizwan Khaler and Abdul Rahman Khaler on the same team.
Yeah. So again, this team is no stranger to anyone, and no stranger to obviously Dawood himself, because he's played with each one of these players, each and every season. So Dawood knows what he's doing. I mean, this system has worked for him for years. Between him and Mohamed Kasantini, they know who Danish is. They know who Farouk Sani is. They know who Hindi is. They know Khalil. They know all these guys because that's what Dawood does. He's consistently done that, and he's grown with these players in terms of bringing the best out of these players. This team really is that. It really is a team that will just kind of weather the storm. They're a blue collar team. They're not going to do anything fancy, and they're not going to do anything that's
Not fancy.
not fancy, pretty much. Yeah. But it works for them. I mean, that system kind of works for them. We know most of the time everything will work through the wood. That's pretty much how that system functions. But again, it'll be interesting to see how Ahmad works in the back of defense. We all know the grit and the tenacity that he brings to the table, which is obviously something that works well with the wood, which he had with Farouk Khan last year. So it's no different. It really is no different than a typical SN team. We all know even at the draft what SN will come, and I don't see any surprise in terms of like where this team will stand. It really will be. Um, a team that really, it'll make the playoffs, but kind of like squeeze in, nothing fancy, just kind of one of those teams that'll just kind of like hide under the shadow, but never count these guys out. I mean, Dawood and Mohammed are proven veterans in the league, and they always draft a team that usually makes it there. But again, with no nothing fancy or anything like that, it's just one of those teams that'll just kind of like get you there.
Yeah, it's definitely a workhorse team. We have two other players that I didn't talk about, but like Khalil Kokar and Umar Mahmoud, they are versatile. Well, Umar
And
Mahmoud's more versatile, and Taha, but like Umar Mahmoud's very versatile, playing forward or defense as necessary. And Khalil Kokar, being one of the elders of the league, but very level-headed, this guy will continue to just pocket points.
He will. Yep.
You may just think, oh, he's an older gentleman coming down the wing or whatnot.
No, but I mean, but again, it fits under Dawood's system. Dawood's system is not really, that flashy team. It really is that team that'll just get you there. And I think that this team really is a team that'll get you there. Like you're right, Khalil Kokar, Omar Mahmoud, Taha, they're not really, those flashy, fast angler guys, but they get this job done.
Absolutely.
And I think this is true testament of of a real SN team, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
There's
just
no
true
surprises
grit.
here.
True grit. The next team we have is Ikhlas. So we have a little bit, veteran players that are, again, the GMs, but a little bit of a different mix than what we're used to with Ikhlas. But regardless, we have Ali Wadi, Arsalan Mian, and Hamza Chaudhry being the GMs. And we have players just as Abdullah Sadiq Patel, again, one of the other Abdullah Patels in our league. We have Faisal Thakur, Junaid Alvi, Madni, Zaidi, Umar Farouk Zoo Fancy, cannot forget about Zoo Fancy. Goalie is Ali Khawaja, and his son playing again with him is Rayan Khawaja. So I think a lot of these players are known to their system, known as baby Greenbirds or whatever you want to call it from the teams they've played on. And I think, again, just having a very talented back end and having the ability to really spark up their offensive. Like Hamza Chaudhry has just a disgusting shot. Right. And now RC really gets someone who can take some pressure off of him and be able to spread the wealth, and having other players that might be able to jump into their system, jump up, get them some extra goals, and really work towards just having someone like Junaid Alvi, who was really leading Iman last season until his unfortunate injury. But Ikhlas does look good. Possible, they have the unknown guys to the league. A couple here and there, Salman Azmat. Who is that guy?
I would actually like. I think this team looks really good. Actually, I mean, just on that GM contingency alone. I mean, if RC obviously with his injuries and stuff like that, but RC at his best with Ali Wadi and Hamza Chaudhry alone, you got veteran youth and guys that can build and make people better. That's amazing. But look who you have in the back end. You have Ali Khawaja, you got Zoo Fancy. You got obviously my former GM Junaid Alvi just as a draft pick alone, and in the draft and not on a leadership role. That relieves the pressure off of him a little bit. And I can't say more about the tenacity that Junaid brings, but in terms of the grit that he brings to that team. But look who else they got. They got those two speedy guys. They got Mick and Ray, both on the same team. That's gonna be good, because when you got guys like good sound defensemen like Ali Wadi feeding those two kids, it's unbelievable what can happen with these guys. And they got the tenacity of Azhar Zafar. You can't I mean, we all know what Usar brings. He's just a workhorse that will just, wear and tear and his forecheck, any team. Um, but this team is very well drafted. And I think this team will definitely, has the potential of causing a lot of damage in the season, especially with a long season of 12 games. I think by the time these guys I don't think it'll take too long for these guys to mesh together, and they'll probably start causing havoc probably within the third or fourth game.
It is important to note that Ikhlas has kind of built off of last year's challenges, and they have drafted some D-men with Ayaz Patel, Faisal Thakur. I think their defensive core is small but very, very stable, very talented. It's just as long as they continue to show up and they're not missing any games, their forwards should be able to ride them into a 2-3-4 goal game anyways. But
Or they just rely on Hamza scoring 26 goals.
RC though, RC man, I hope you're healthy, but I'd love to see you be able to be the dangerous player that you have been in the past. But that's also been the challenge of everyone collapsing on him, knowing that he was the man to shut down. But
And he
Hamza
still is.
he definitely is. But it doesn't help for RC when he gets two players on him every single time he touches the ball. So. Our next team to break down is the blue and white. Everyone knows that not my favorite team, but Habibi's repping that blue. I'm repping the Rangers blue. And it's important to note that on our WhatsApp group, when we put out the poll, Rida only got one vote. The blue and white curse might continue.
I think it's because the guys don't really know.
That's the key.
A lot of these guys. That's why.
So with the GMs, we have Salman Khalid, Waqar Khan, that a lot of people know, but Furkan Salam has not been in Iceland for quite a few seasons, and a lot of their players are Cambridge players. So we were making the joke of they're all coming in a big van and coming. So there are some guys that we just don't know, and like you said, is that unknown variable. People weren't, I guess, willing to put their name behind it, but we do have known stars of Iceland and guys who are just waiting to put their put their stamp on it. We have Mohamed Saleh, we have Suleiman Bati, who's just kind of that regular. We do know about Sadiq Rahman, who used to be a goalie in Iceland, but now he's, I believe, playing forward or defense. So it's going to be interesting to see. And Shiraz Mahmoud rounding out their roster. Any thoughts of the? Oh, plus you're on there too, Ahmed Ibrahim.
Yeah, I was kind of like defaulted to that team, but anyhow, but yeah, you got five guys right off the bat from that Cambridge contingent. So you got Furkan, Gibran, Wahaj, Sadiq himself, and Omar Wan. So that kind of is that Cambridge contingent. Obviously, not known to the Iceland system because we haven't seen them in a while, but they've been playing out in their end. So it's not like they're unfamiliar to to ball hockey or away from ball hockey. They have been part of the Iceland family for many years, but obviously due to distance, we have not seen it. So obviously we welcome them back, and can't wait to see those brothers again. But again, I can't speak enough about Mohamed Saleh in terms of like what he brings to the table. I mean, after having the pleasure and working and playing with him last season on Iman, that kid is just it's just going to be a very pleasant to watch, especially when you got Salman Khalid and Waqar Khan taking him under his wing in terms of like doing that. But again, this could be the resurgence of Hussein Malik. He's not playing with the Maliks, so it might be that resurgence of bringing the best out of him when he's not with family. I don't know, but hopefully that works out, because when we do know what Hussein can bring in terms of like when he's when he plays with under a certain system and stuff like that. So hopefully with less of pressure in terms of like with family and stuff like that, we might be able to bring out the best in him. But again, I can't speak more about Shiraz Mahmoud himself. I mean, he's played backup for us many games. He stole a lot of games for many teams throughout the regular season, and even at pickup when we had the All-Star game, he was just solid in terms of like what he brings to the table too. So I think this team obviously is well-rounded. They're familiar players that are familiar with the systems. you can't say enough about the leadership that Waqar, Salman, and Farkan bring to the table. Those GMs are literally GMs that will literally bring out the best in each and every player, and I don't expect anything other than that. Salman Khalid is a true leader. He's not a stranger to Iceland as well. He's been with us for many, 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 many years, and I think given the leadership that he brings, I'm sure he'll bring out the best in this team. This team, I think, not because I'm on it, I despite that one vote thing, I obviously will, would beg to differ. I don't think that you should discount this team at all.
Yeah, except for the fact that they're the blue and white. You cannot discount just the talent that's there, and like you said, they will definitely work with their players. And I've been kind of nudged on the side to let everyone know that Zahir Kazi is the better Kazi. Moving on to the next team, Sabr. So we have, I think, the youngest GM trio in Sabr. We have Bilal Mohadin, aka Mouse, Mohammed Khaler, and Tayyab Khaler. So a very young GM trio core, but I can say that they have drafted very well, right? I think this is Bilal's second or third season. I want to say third season in Iceland. Tayyab's been here for quite a few years, but again, they drafted a very, very strong team, right? Fahad Panchbaya, we have Imran Lakanpal, Omar Sadat. Again, Omar Sadat keeps going late, and I don't understand it. He's a hustle player. He grinds out quite a bit, but then we also have the big superstars of Muhib Shah, Asif Bikan, lower player, Naeem Shah. No, I'm kidding, Naeem. Love you, man. But their goaltender, who for the last, I believe, I want to say 5, 6 seasons, something. I can't remember my stats now. But he has been on top of the league when it comes to save percentage and goals against average. Unfortunately, he lost out to Riaz last season, but the difference was very, very minuscule. So what are your thoughts? The youngest team, I think the youngest GM trio on the board, but has quite a bit of depth.
Watch out for this team. That's all I got to say. Seriously, watch out for this team. This team really is a well-drafted team. I wouldn't discount this team at all in any way, shape, or form. I had the pleasure, obviously, with playing with Bilal last season. Mighty Mouse, that kid could just run circles around anyone, and of course, with that complement of Mohammed and Tayyab Khaler, I mean, this team. I mean, you have two former GMs that are in the draft pool. You got Asif Bika, Muhib Shah alone, who were GMs last season, just within that mix. And again, with all the other guys that they have, like in terms of Naeem, Imran, Amr, Ahmad, he was also a former Iman player, got a lot of minutes in terms of working with that system, and obviously his brother Ahsan as well. Those two are phenomenal. And again, Sufyan and Omar Sadat, you can't discount those guys too. But again, with Yusuf Kapoor in net, you can't go wrong. I think this team is definitely a team to watch out for. And nothing will stop these guys. These guys will be relentless, and it all starts with Bilal. Bilal is relentless, and I'm sure that's contagious. And Ahmed Mobeen with his style in terms of getting back and hustling and getting getting under the skin of certain players. This team will be contagious. This team will be hard to beat, and this is a well-drafted team for sure.
The only thing that is coming a little bit apparent to me right now is who's playing defense. Is Tayyab going back on defense again? Is Fahad Panchbaya, who is a center, but did play defense last season very, very well for Ikhlas when he was on Ikhlas. But is Imran Lakanpal going to be on defense, where I know he wants to play up, and he's a great forward, and he proved that in the pickup as well. But we know that Amir Hanif will be defense. That's his position.
Amir Hanif will play defense, yeah.
Yeah, so I think there might be a little bit of a lack of a defense yet again for a team that has Tayyab Khaler as the GM. But I think it's just wasting.
They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
They will.
It's 12 games. They'll figure it out.
Now we have Taqwa, which is one of the Malton teams showing up. We have the perennial GMs of Abdul Rahim Manjra, Huzaifa Panchbaya, and Yusuf Ingar, who was top of the league in scoring, or roughly top of the league scoring when he was playing last season. But I think this is a very well drafted team, and they drafted the team that they knew and who they were getting. So Arif Khan, Arsal Bhatti, Hamza Bagat, Ismail Mandra, Maz Mullah. So a lot of these guys are Malton guys. YY Ingar. So a lot of them, they kind of went to what they knew is that chemistry, going with the Malton team, and having Musa Mandra, who's I believe also a Malton Mavericks goaltender, and he showed up for the pickup game. What are your thoughts about this team? A few young guys that we may not know, but again,
Well,
go up in our workhorses that will come to play.
so Nawaz Sheikh is a really good brother. I know him very well. Good to see him back into the league. So he's obviously someone that they knew. They think they drafted him where he belonged. But of course,
He went pretty late for the caliber of a player he has been.
Well, we all get there sometime, but I mean, and they they went with Faisal Mahbub. Like Faisal, he's always on a typical Takwa team because he fits well with that system. But again, just the three guys right on top, like in terms of like Mandra and Panchbaya and Ingar, we know right off the bat that those guys can wreak havoc within any team. This truly is a Malton team. This truly is a team that was built on friends and family with a little sprinkle here and sprinkle there. But again, this team, just like every other Malta team, they're not a team to sit down on. They're not a team to kind of like watch because they will catch you. I definitely think this is a very well drafted team. Nothing spectacular in terms of like what was not expected. This is a typically expected, Malton, Takwa, Josefa, Mandra drafted team. They went with what they know. I mean, I could see all the names that are familiar to them. They are friends and family. But again, Arif Khan will be that key in terms of like fitting him in that strong second line, and having Arif Khan in that second line is extremely dangerous because we know the top line, it'll be obviously reserved for the Malton guys, but having guys like Arif Khan and maybe Faisal and maybe Nawaz on that second line, I don't know, but they definitely have room to play. I don't think there'll be any issues in terms of like defense or forward and goal. I think Mandra knows exactly what he was doing. I think those three guys knew exactly what they're doing. I think they have a mindset and a game plan. And typically with Takwa teams, they'll always make the playoffs. They'll always make it into first round, second round playoffs. So the only reason why they get there is obviously because of the guys that they drafted. And this is a team that's no different than a typical drafted Takwa team.
Absolutely, and considering that they did just kind of doing the math in my head, but they did go out and make sure that they drafted Arsal Bhatti, Faisal Mahmood, Farhan Saleh, Hamza Bagat, and Maz Mullah. If I'm not mistaken, all those five guys were on their season. Were on Takwa last season.
So if guys are familiar with.
Exactly. So just to build off of that, and you're right, I think they do have a good mix of forward and defensemen. And Farhan Saleh, again, haunts my dreams a little bit, but he can play forward, he can play D, and I definitely agree with you that they do have a plan, and it also looks like that they're building the future of Malton, of having their young guys in there, and just
nothing wrong with that.
Let's get the arena, let's get that skill level and that experience going. Now, of the other Malton team, we have Mohammed Shabir Patel, Mohammed Dippy Patel, and Umer Ingar, who are the GMs of Yakin. They now went out and made sure that they drafted Farouk Khan, first overall. Then also got Farouk Khan. So you got two solid D-men right there. Then they made sure that they got Mohammed Patel, another Mohammed. So they have three Mohammed Patels right off the bat. But Imran Shah, Jazid Mahmood, Maz Panchbaya, Imad Hussain. So a lot of talent and just kind of variable up and down. And Huzaifa Mahida was another Dahllands goalie to round out their team. I think this team is, again, It is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, their first line, even if you just say that they're going to have uh, their GMs and Farouk Khan on the back end, that is probably one of the best stacked first line out there. But of course, they're going to spread out that wealth and just kind of get their team rolling. But I definitely see them as a true contender. And Josefa Mahida just most recently kind of joined in because of my dropout, but he's been a solid goalie for Dawnlands as well. So really good to see that he's in this season.
Yeah, I mean, MP Mohammed Shabir Patel. Again, I'm a fan. I'll always say that. I'll say that every single podcast. But I can't say enough about that kid in terms of like, his play, his tenacity, his everything that he brings to the table in terms of like, the way he plays, and of course having him in that leadership role in terms of, again, we're seeing that typical Malton team where they're drafting guys that they know. Farouk Khan, good to see him back. The other Farouk Khan.
Double O or
The double O. We haven't seen him in a while, so it's obviously great to see him back. Obviously, it's amazing to have guys like him back into the league. He hasn't been with us for a while, but good to see him back. But again, even that other Farouk Khan, we all know what he brings to the table. Just stay away from him if you're a forward, because you know what you're about to get. But these guys have everything. I mean, this team will be a fun team to watch as opposed to SN. This team will have it all. They got flash, they got dash, they got youth, they got a solid goaltender, and they got they got guys that can hit. Like, actually both Farouk Khans.
yeah,
They're both guys that are
they're gonna
physical.
wear you out if
They're
you want
they're
to get in front of that net, you're gonna get worn out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so so you got that D, you got MP in the front, you got all the other guys kind of mixed in there, and obviously the tenacity that Ahmed Hussein brings to the table as well. But this team, you're right. I wouldn't count these guys out. Definitely a solid contender. MP and company definitely knew what they were doing when they were drafting this team, and I don't see anything but good stuff for this team, inshallah, for sure.
I even joked around that this team's going to be yelling a lot, but I think that was from previous seasons, and they're very passionate players, and it's just trying to get the best out of everyone that they can. So uh, it's going to be a lot of yelling from what I've known of past seasons, but it's going to be to get the best out of you and to make sure that you're not making any mistakes or anyone's not making any mistakes. They just want to work hard, and each one of these players is a hard worker. So definitely, they have a great team ahead of Mahida, and it's gonna be exciting to see what happens on tomorrow or for our first game.
Yeah.
Now, everyone is talking about, hey, that there's a snowstorm coming. What's happening? What's the potential of happening tomorrow? I want to make everyone rest assured that we do have communication going out as soon as we can. Habibi works very close to where the hangar is. So, Habibi,
Well,
what
I
is your
mean,
game day assessment?
well, see, the thing is, like, it's a very difficult question to answer right now at 9:43
Absolutely.
on
Yeah.
January 11th, because, I mean, this is not our first year. I mean, we've done this for many, many years, and it's not. I mean, we're in Canada. This is something that we should be used to. A snowstorm is not something that's oblivious, but at the same time, the safety is obviously most important uh, for us, and obviously that's something that supersedes everything. But govern yourselves accordingly. I mean, this is Canada. If you know that you have to be somewhere to arrive early, um, but in terms of like, as of right now, this second, it's a go. So we're going. I'm coming all the way from Ajax. We got guys coming in from Curtis, from Cambridge. At one point, we had guys that were coming in all the way from Niagara Falls. There were still falls when I was living in Ajax, and we had to drive all the way in Oakville. I still showed up. I'm not to say that I'm any different than anybody else, but at the same time, um, the answer to that question is it's still a go. The referees are going to be there. I'm going to be there, inshallah. So it really is a go for now. And again, it'll have to be a game time decision, but I will notify the GMs in terms of like any executive calls that we make during the time. But as of right now, it's a go, because the information that we have right now will be no different than at 6 o'clock game time, because the expected it will be probably around like 10 o'clock or something like that. But right now, we really can't make a decision other than notify you guys that it is a go.
Absolutely, and again, you work very close to this, so you get to see what's happening, and we get better updates from what looking at the Weather Network closer to game time than we do now because things change. So, guys, just make sure you join our WhatsApp group. If you don't have the link, talk to your GMs, and they'll shoot you that link, or reach out to one of us, and we're happy to send that link to you. But if you're active in your team chats and you're actively
Yeah, your
looking at
GMs
our
will know.
social media, yeah, and actively looking at our social media, we will try to sorry let everyone
You
know.
will be known.
You will know. You will
You
know.
will know.
So now, in terms of that, I do want to share our social medias. So first of all, we have our iSlam page, which is i-slam.ca. So let's see if it even works right now. No, I think it's being updated. So, but anyways, we have our iSlam page. We have our Instagram. So iSlam or Islam Hockey Canada is our Instagram page. We have our YouTube. So most of you guys are tuning in from using our YouTube feeds. So it's at Iceland Ball Hockey. We also have Facebook. So Iceland Hockey on Facebook. Yes, we have Twitter. So we also have it as at Iceland Hockey on Twitter. And last but not least, we got TikToks. Uncle Baksh, Umar Baksh, loves to drop down his interviews here and some other information. So inshallah, we'll have him out. He's not playing due to injury, but we have a lot of our TikToks here. It's Iceland Ball Hockey here as well. So feel free to reach out to us here. Get engaged if you can. And if you send us some clips and information, we'll happily try to put it up on our socials as well. Stay tuned for our breakaway information that we're going to be sharing very shortly. Sorry, excuse me. The skills breakaway competitions. Abdullah. Oh man, Abdullah's saying that we need to hire a league TikToker. I think he knows a few guys. Well, Abdullah, you are part of the OC now, man. So drop your information to Habibi and then have that conversation. But guys, get connected with us. We're available on multiple streams, multiple platforms. If you have any questions, reach out. We're happy to engage. And best is when you see us, if you see any of us at the games, just approach us. Some already have enough. Habibi has way too many people approaching him for everything. Some don't want to be approached as much, but inshallah, whenever I can show up, if you have any suggestions, any thoughts, let us know, and then we'll even give you a formal forum of how to share that with the league. We're always looking to improve and get better across as we do it. Habibi's he's the leadership behind this, and he does a great job to it. Just a final reminder, guys, and this is how passionate I am about this, is remember, we are playing with brothers, family, friends, husbands, fathers, sons. Please keep it safe. Be safe. Yes, you can go hard into the boards. Yes, there's a level of, before it goes to a penalty, but it should not even get to there. It should be a hard game of hockey, but be very conscientious of what you're doing out there, right? We all have jobs and families to go back to. So inshallah, other than that, I'm done. But Habibi, do you have any last thoughts you would like to share?
No, just looking forward to another great season, inshallah. Like I said, it's going to be a longer season, so obviously, with the longer season, it's something that will, obviously establish, greater friendships and all that stuff. But yeah, Abdullah did remind, I was going to say that anyhow, but tomorrow, your GMs have been notified in terms of like your jerseys. So you guys amongst your team chats, we don't need to discuss this here, but just be prepared. I'm sure your GMs will notify in terms of like what to do and what you need to wear. No t-shirts, please, or you will not be allowed to play. But yeah, just looking forward to another great season. I mean, last season was, it was a great season in terms of like, with the guys that were there, but now you're starting a new journey with a bunch of different guys. And it's just one of those things, like you said, Maju, we're brothers at the end of the day that share a common interest, and that's the passion for our sport. So there's nothing wrong with mixing a passion for a sport and, Dean and brotherhood and just meeting up with the guys every Friday night. I didn't know how much I missed you guys until I haven't seen you guys for like 3 weeks, but I'm personally looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys are looking forward to another great season. And yeah, like Maju said, we're very approachable. If there's anything that you guys want in terms of making the league better, this is not our league. This is actually your league. We just do what we can to facilitate it as much as possible. So yeah, I hope to see all of you guys tomorrow, inshallah. And it's a go for now.
Yep, looking forward to it. So again, just make sure you're bringing a dark and or a black jersey or a white jersey, depending on what your GM
Whatever your GM says.
Whatever your GM, but white is white, not yellow. White is white. So make sure you get that. And if you don't have a jersey, talk to your team. Players have multiple jerseys. I'm happy to bring out a jersey if you need.
Dawood has
yeah.
14 red jerseys.
There you go. He can probably just have a whole red team by himself. Yeah. But guys, looking forward, and then of course we have Zaid Qadri. Zaid Qadri's giving a shout out to his boys on Iman. And I think that's it, guys. I don't think I have anything more, but inshallah, everyone, stay safe, and inshallah we'll all see you tomorrow. Okay, Habibi, again, Jazakallah for joining, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, brother.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Assalamu alaikum.